The coaches aren't necessarily experienced players. They're people who know how to coach. Crazy thought. Because there's an art to coaching that if you're a good coach, you can coach anything. You don't actually need to know the material. You just need to know how to motivate people and keep them focused and engage in the art of intentional practice, which is not necessarily have anything to do with knowing how to help them improve at what they're doing. But we are going to get into this second game. Game 2, Zero versus Super Perfect Team on Cursed Hollow. We are going to have Illidan first banned by Super Perfect Team. Illidan, very popular on this map in the pro meta just because of the chase distances, the sheer distance from the walls. Also, you just provide a lot of map pressure because the tribute fight's been going for quite a while, and anyone who can efficiently solo merc camps is always going to be in some sort of contestant on Cursed Hollow. Zeratul going to be banned out by Zero Perfect Team. Or Zero Perfect Team. By Zero. A lot of people were asking, are we going to see Zeratul tonight? Is Zeratul better? Yes, he is. And yes, we're going to see him in the ban phase. We might see him played, but not on this map. Too big of a threat. Super Perfect Team actually going to prioritize the Tassadar pickup here. That's really interesting because it makes Vala a potential pickup for Zero, but it makes Vala weaker than she otherwise would be. So does Zero go for the Vala anyway, knowing she's going to be weaker, or do they leave Vala open and Super Perfect Team is going to be allowed to pick up that combination? And you gotta ask yourself the question: what do you draft if you know they're going to pick up Vala Tassadar? So far, we have not seen a good answer to that. Honestly, in the drafts we've seen one team get Vala Tassadar, they pretty much either won the game or been so outclassed the draft almost didn't matter. Like, those were the two options. So it's still hard to see what, in terms of an even team comp, is going to beat Vala Tassadar. And we are going to see ETC picked up 4-0. Again, we've not seen ETC. We've barely seen ETC make it past the first ban phase. And he never makes it past the first pick phase. I actually see the ETC Falstad picked up. So they're going more for the global. They're going more for the map pressure style. I think that actually might be one of the best ways of dealing with Vala Tassadar. Just, they don't have globals. Just outpush them, out-rotate them, beat them up, take them down. Super Perfect Team gonna have to think about this. Do they want to play into that strategy and pick up the Vala anyway? Or do they want to do something else? I feel like they're using their time pool. They know they're going to pick up Vala. The question is just, what are they going to pick up with Vala? They are going to pick up the Brightwing. Brightwing Tassadar has been the combo wombo all night, pretty much, for the Chinese teams. All the Chinese teams we've seen really seem to like this combination quite a bit. And I, again, really feel like they're going to pick up Vala here. If they do pick up Vala, it means that Zero can isolate the tank pool further. It is going to be the Vala pickup. As Super Perfect Team, taking the exact same draft, but picking the heroes in a different order. Trying to confuse Zero a little bit. Zero would normally isolate a tank ban here, just to continue with what they're doing, but I kind of wonder if they're gonna ban out a bruiser that they're particularly afraid of, as opposed to a tank. No, they are gonna ban a tank that is gonna be the Muradin. They're gonna be as standard as possible. It's always an indication that a team is extremely confident in their play. When they ban a standard option, they're like, well, okay, this is the most standard thing you can take. We're gonna ban that. And then you won't be able to take it, and then we're going to beat you straight up, because whatever you're going to do is be maybe slightly worse no matter what. Even if you personally play it better. SBT probably going to focus on support bans here. They do. They end up banning out the Malfurion. No big surprises there. Zero wants to leave the last pick of their draft flexible as a response to whatever SPT ends up picking up, which means they should probably pick up their bruiser and their support here. Ideally, we might see them pick up their burst damage, just in case they want a particular burst damage dealer to really deal with the Vala Tassadar Li Ming combination, or Vala Tassadar Brightwing combination. For instance, they can pick up Li Ming, whose poke is always extremely valuable on Cristallo in particular. Would actually not be surprised to see them pick up Dahaka and go for the Tri-Global. Yep, they are going to pick up Dahaka. Not surprised at all. And then they're going to pick up their support. Rhaegar is probably the best of the rest, unless they plan on last picking a Hope Generator. They do, but that does limit their draft. If they want to pick a last pick a Hope Generator, it's going to limit their options slightly. Rhaegar is the easy pick here. Ariel is a little bit more dangerous, but could be better. It just depends. We could also see something off the wall like Medic, which would give them technically another global potentially with Medevac. They do have a sufficiently large front line to really protect her, so Medic would be safe here, but I don't know if it's what they want to do. They're actually saving their support. For last pick, they are going to pick up the Tychus. There's not that many supports he would actually want to hide. So either Zero's not concerned about reacting to SVT's last two picks, or they want to hide their support. If they want to hide their support, I feel like it's more likely to be Morales, or maybe even Damage Karazim as a solo support, than it is to be the standard Rhaegar, because I feel like SVT would not have also picked up Tychus. Maybe they would have, versus the double tank with Tassadar. Might have been a little bit dangerous, but also potentially a concern. Super Perfect Team, spending a lot of time thinking about this. They're going to pick up the Johanna, so they're going extremely standard, with Muradin banned out and ETC taken. Johanna is in some ways the best of the rest, unless you want Tyrael to support a dive comp, which SPT did not draft. The question is, are they happy with that double support and Johanna's a solo frontliner, or are they going to go for another frontliner and someone in the more playmaking department, like an Alarak? They could potentially pick up Chen again if they wanted to. I really think they need a little bit more damage than the Vala, especially since Johanna is relatively low damage. Oh, they're going to pick up the Chen again. I always find it amusing when I make a call and then disagree with my call. I was like, is that really good enough? And then the team does the thing that I thought maybe wasn't good enough. And they're like, oh, I guess I should go with my first instincts. It is going to be the Rhaegar, so they weren't hiding anything. They just were afraid of Tychus plus a tank being picked up by Super Perfect Team. I'm not sure Tychus Vala on the same team is good in the majority of cases. I feel like Super Perfect Team doesn't quite have enough damage to secure kills, especially against Ancestral. I think Zero has a better draft for the map and a better draft for the team fights. Which, considering I thought the drafts were relatively even last game because of the sheer synergy that Super Perfect Team had, concerns me because Zero still won. Those of you not familiar with Super Perfect Team, they're one of those teams that always has their own take on the meta. They have their own appreciation for different combos, different styles of play. So they're always a really fun team to watch, and they made it to be the second best team in China recently with their style of play. It's a little different. It's a little different from any other team's meta. They respect the combinations that everyone has, You know, Vala Tassadar, obviously super standard, but they pair it with, you know, Chen, Johanna, Brightwing. They did Leoric, Ariel in the last game. It's not 100% different. It's not like they're playing their own game altogether, but it's just a little tiny... The emphasis of their picks is occasionally just a little bit different. They have their own combinations they like to play. They talked about it in their interview. How they definitely felt like they could catch certain teams off guard because they're not that familiar with them. I think that's going to be an advantage for them going up against the non-Chinese teams who are not as familiar with their style. You look at this game, we'll have Melody C on Falstad, M on Dahaka, Gemini on Rhaegar, SK on Tychus, and 6 on ETC. I actually see Lightning Bomb pick up level 1 for that wave clear. On the right-hand side of the map, we will have Super Perfect Team. We'll have Wings on Chen again, Aloof Fool on Brightwing, Misaka on Johanna, Leong on Tassadar, and Queen Zhao on Vala. We're going to see the aggressive flying. Melody's actually getting hit by the tower there. We're going to have a relatively passive game early on for here from Super Perfect Team. You know, Chen rotate down to the top lane, Brightwing rotate to the bottom lane. Just going to hang out in their bushes, focus on clearing the waves, keeping them pushed in. Not going to let themselves get picked off. We do see 6 with Power Slide, potentially looking for something. We're going to see a little bit of a face check there. Johanna does, however, have Iron Skin. Not enough damage to chunk her out this early in the game, and she'll be absolutely fun. Not a lot of value out of that Power Slide. We're going to see a tri-lane in the bottom, 3v3. Tassadar in the mid, and Chen in the top lane versus Falstad and Dahaka, respectively. Both teams just pushing in aggressively, keeping their waves clear. We do see the rotation from ETC, again, trying to get on top of that Tassadar. They can chunk him, but it's going to be very difficult to actually kill a Tassadar at this point in the game. They do get a little bit of damage on him. He's down to half, but has tap available. We'll be able to heal right back up. And we're going to see ETC rotate down to the bottom lane. And they're actually losing ammo on this bottom tower. So we're going to see 0-6 come in, get the stun. Aloof Fool is actually going to take a lot of damage, but that is a Brightwing. He can back and then Z right back in for full health, full mana, pretty much anytime he wants to. He does take the increased range at level 1 for his trait. Getting that extra healing. We actually see Regen Master picked up from Johanna. This is a talent we usually see on maps where it's easier to rotate between lanes, so you can finish it off very, very quickly. But I guess versus Tychus, the block was not going to be considered to be going to get very much value. So I understand that decision. Both teams just chunking it out. You're going to see Wings emphasize the wave clear here. You have to make sure in that matchup versus Dahaka, if you have wave clear, you try and get the waves clear as quickly as possible, so that you can leave the lane. Because if you stand there and duel Dahaka, there's always a possibility he lands a drag on you, drags you into towers, and that free damage means you have to back, and eventually you're going to start to slowly lose the lane. Tribute is going to spawn top. That is lucky for Super Perfect Team. Means their siege will be uncontested, pushing in the bot lane. Whereas Zero's siege is going to get cleared up relatively quickly because Super Perfect Team is going to rotate and contest that tribute. We're going to have to get a little bit of zoning here. Misaka not quite going to get there. A lot of poke, but Chen is there. We're going to see a beautiful power slide. Tiong taking a ton of damage. Does manage to get out of there. Has tap available. Is actually going to clear mid for the globe just for the health. But Zero controlling those rotations very nicely. Actually does manage to secure that tribute basically for free. Wing's going to take a lot of damage here. And the drag almost securing the kill, but unfortunately not enough damage follow-up there. Top wall is completely gone. Brightwing in the bot lane is doing a lot of work against that Falstad, it looks like. You can check that out. We do see they lost pretty much the bottom wall, so that's actually pretty even in terms of structures. Zero a little tiny bit ahead in experience, but it is a small amount. 6 going to go in for the power slide here. Actually going to do a ton of damage. Beautiful face melt, perfectly positioned. And a Fool going to tap. Doesn't quite end up going down, but that was extremely close. 7 is going to be picked up here, 4-0. going to see quarterback, echo pedal, which even more wave clear. Cleanse, boom, Orang. And I imagine we're going to see Symbiosis, the pickup for the Haka. It is the pickup for the Haka. Tribute's going to spawn in 10 seconds. This is kind of convenient for SBT because they can grab this camp really quickly if they want. Nope, they end up backing out. It's a safer decision. I actually think that's the right decision. They really wanted to get that camp. They wanted it to push. They cut the timing a little too fine. And they don't want to get chunked right before the fight. They wouldn't have time to back. We're going to see the channel happening here, but Tygus with the grenade. He's going to get the interrupt. And we're going to see a little bit of a jump here. Again, face melt from 0-6. Loudspeakers level 4, allowing him to do that from a really safe distance. And just channel. And SVD does end up picking it up. They really wanted to pressure that for as long as they could because they did have Dahaka soaking top and Falstad soaking bot, whereas SBT only had Brightwing soaking bottom, which means they were going to be end up a little bit ahead. The next tribute is guaranteed to spawn in the bottom left, which is the one Zero is going to want to contest the most to make sure they get 2 out of 3. They will actually probably be level 10 for that, which means SBT will not be able to contest it anyway. And we're going to be looking at the 4th tribute before we potentially have a curse for either team. Curious to see if we see any non-standard play around that. Normally, we're going to see SPT grab boss and sacrifice this tribute. Let's see if we can see them aggressively going. We're going to see a lot of mid-wave clear coming in. Oh, but the beautiful kill on the Vala with that power slide. That was not what they wanted to have happen. We're going to see a drag. The Haka comes out of nowhere. Secures the kill on a Tassadar as well. 2 for none, 3v5. They're forced to give this tribute up. We're going to see Chen stay in the top lane, continuing to soak Brightwing in the bottom, doing the same. Super Perfect team looking very focused, not very happy. Zero is bathed in light. I'm not sure why Super Perfect team is forced to play in darkness. That probably explains a lot of what's going on. And Zero is going to grab their boss, Gus Ancestral, Isolation, and Dragon Laser Drill, other pickups, and Stage Dive for ETC. No big surprise there. Global's incredibly valued on this map. Oh, both of them! Gemini and Melody C both getting stunned. That's a little embarrassing. You can see Melody C is hanging out in the back there just in case the invade happens so that Gust guarantees the boss. As long as your tank pulls the boss far enough forward, that is a safe place to position. Just gotta make sure the boss is pulled far enough forward so that you don't end up getting stunned. SPC with the recap on the Bruisers is going to allow them to defend against the boss a little bit more easily. The Bruisers will eventually, or the Siege will, rotate and get that damage onto the boss. And we're actually see Zero rotating around mid, looking for their potential pick, getting the wave clear. We see Misaka actually get face melted away from her wave. Not quite condemning the whole wave there. 0-6 being incredibly annoying all day with these face melts. Bottom fort is going to go down to that bot push. Mirrors, the Panda Pal's already coming out. This was something that Chen was basically forced to burn just to prevent getting too sufficiently chunked by that rotation because he was a little bit far forward compared to where his team was. We're going to have a 5v5, but this is 5 heroics for Zero versus 4 heroics for SPT. It's not usually a situation you actually want to engage in a fight in, but they can't afford to give it this tribute, and they're not going to get a better opportunity considering they are an uneven talent here. So they're going to take that risk. We're going to see a stage dive into the backline. The follow-up is real in terms of getting that polymorph off, making sure he doesn't get too much damage. The Gust for the disengage. Laser going to focus on Johanna. Wings is going to go down here 110%. There's no way he lives through this. Barrel roll over the force wall to secure that kill. Melody C with the aggressive play backs off. And they are going to get the channel on the tribute. That is 2 kills for none. And Zero gets the curse. They are going to be pushing in with this. Bot lane is pretty much handled by the fact that Siege are still there, which means SPT doesn't need to worry about bot lane too much, but they need to make sure they de-push mid and top, prevent those lanes from getting too pushed in and losing too many structures. They are going to lose top fort 100%. Nothing they can do about that. They can do some work mid. We're going to see the Haka brush stalker mid to try and get that soak and Falstead flybot. This is what you want to do during curses. You're going to have an instant replay of that fight, and you can see the drag onto Tassadar, there was a split focus, and then immediately as soon as everyone was grouped up and one person was out of position, they gusted everyone else away, finished off Johanna and Chen. That's pretty much the most value you can get out of a curse. They didn't quite manage to secure a middle fort. SBT did defend it very nicely. They're going to rotate back and get their bruisers. Falstad actually ended up going down during the recap, it looks like. Falstad was pushing bot before we went to the recap. So that happened. That is the first kill on the board for SBT. Sorry we missed it. Zero just going to secure their bruisers. We are going to see a rotation here from SBT to secure their siege. Johanna Pack pushing out mid against EDC. EDC, remember, has stage dive, so he can be anywhere he needs to be on the map right now if necessary. He is going to be managed, but yeah, for the moment, because the siege camp is just going to continue to safely push in top. Keep that lane pressure up on SBT. Force them to deal with the fact that they have multiple lanes to push when they only have one global. And you can see, oh, you're all going to, everyone rotated mid, I'm going to go back top. I'm going to keep pushing this lane until we actually have a fight. 15 to 13 right now, going to be 15 to 14 in a moment, but Zero handily winning the race of 16. Brightwing is going to go back, push the lane up top. But the Hawk is still soaking bottom. No one's soaking bottom for SBT. So soaking two lanes when you're behind an experience is a guaranteed way to stay behind. We're going to finally see a rotation from SBT. Bala and Johanna rotating the bot lane. Actually, Johanna actually just rotating the bot lane. Bala is going to fake a rotation, come back up. I don't entirely understand what Super Perfect Team is doing right now. Either they should be soaking all the lanes to catch up to save the 16, or they should be forcing a fight, knowing all the globals are split up. They can get that at first pick. Even if the globals come in, it'll still be a 5v4 situation. This is 16 to 14 now. They can't contest this tribute. They were so passive for so long that Zero managed to soak 16. We are going to see the 16 talents picked up. We're actually going to see the damage talent for Rhaegar at 16. The 5% damage on his Wolf Lunge, 5% of the hero's health, and heals Rhaegar for 5% of his health. So it's damage and sustain. It's going to give them even more burst potential for that power slide into drag lockdown combo. Both teams playing extremely passively right now. Zero's not trying to make anything happen because they know if they give up a single pick, SBT will get 16 and then potentially get boss. Whereas SBT doesn't want to fight at all because they're down a talent here. They start boss, does get scouted by 6. You can see 6 is not doing much to contest this. That tells SBT that Zero is likely on their own boss. We can see the rotation start to happen already. We're seeing Falstad with the fly. He is going to go for the gust. And we're going to see 0-6 get on the point. And the gust over the wall. The force wall actually denies the gust from working. We're going to see 0-6 get a lot of damage there. He does get Ancestral, but they actually managed to steal the boss despite all of that. Despite all of those shenanigans, Johanna is going to end up going down. Chen is drinking force wall for the disengage, but that's going to be a catch on a task start. He does have pressings available. He's barely going to get out. Vala is dead, dead, dead. The body blocks are real. Liang is going to go down here. He has no more get out of jail free cards. That fort is still alive. Don't think they really want to be fighting right there. They're going to take a lot of damage, but it doesn't even matter because there's nothing that SBT can really do to follow up. They do manage to secure middle fort. That was a beautiful invade by Zero. The gust, the force wall almost made the save. We're going to get an instant replay of that. You can see Panda Pals come down the force wall. The gust into the force wall, but face melt and then face melt again was enough to secure. Encore actually getting value for the first time ever in literally any game that I've seen Encore taken. Zero got top keep off the back of that boss push. They're just going to start painting the map blue. They got the siege camp. They're going to grab their bruisers. As well, at this point, Zero is just looking for level 20. Whereas SBT is looking for a pick-off, looking for someone who's potentially overextended. But Zero not going to make those mistakes. They're perfectly happy to group up. The Haka's in the top lane pushing in. As soon as they're off the map, as soon as they actually see, show on the map, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Haka go back in. No, he's just going to back up. Hang out on the mini map, decide where he wants to go. It's important when you have a global to be really, really patient. We're going to see Aloof try and get the channel. Nope, does get interrupted by Melody. So you can immediately start to re-channel. Doesn't have interrupts there. We have, Falstad actually going aggressively over the wall with the barrel. I don't think he intended to do that, but the gust out, Ancestral does save him. Stage dive in, completely redefines the zoning for this fight. Zero with a beautiful invade there to save Falstad. Again, I do think that barrel roll positioning was a little bit of a mistake, but it ended up working out. Johanna ends up going down. And they're going to get the kill onto Chen as well. With no front line, SBT is forced to back out if they can back out, if they're allowed to. Vol is going to go down as well. Force wall, again, for this engage. The beautiful fly. Epic Mount was picked up before that happened. And so we are going to have another kill on Tassadar, another curse. Bruiser's pushing into the mid camp. And they do not want to give up this kill. The mounting is real. We're going to see Aloof Fool trying to do his best to defend core, but there's no way that a lone Brightwing is going to defend a 4-man push with Siege and Catapults against a Curse. That'll be GG 2-0, 0 versus Super Perfect.